you know, it's really exciting to see all the work
Yes,
that's
it
featured
is.
in the auction. So hopefully we'll figure out a moment to have that on there. Welcome everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Sam Wright. How's my audio? Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, perfect. So my name is Sam Wright. I'm the events manager for the Judy Stahl for Arizona State House campaign. Thank you so much for joining us for this kickoff party of our virtual art auction fundraiser to elect Judy Stahl. Woohoo. I'm very excited. This has been a collaborative effort, and it feels really special to have it culminate in this gathering with all of you. And so the art auction is virtual and is in a silent auction format. And I will be putting into the chat the link for that website. We've been running our whole campaign virtually, and this is to make everyone as safe and healthy as possible. And so in order to make this fundraiser a reality, we had 29 artists and artist collectives generously donate their work. And so when an artist creates a piece of artwork, they donate their time, their creative energy, and their thought. And that's what this campaign has been from the beginning, is people giving their time, their creative energy, their thought, and their care. And so I would like to thank a long list of artists for their work. In this auction, we have work featured from, we have Anne Ramsey, we have, excuse me, my list is not loading, but we have work from Abby Brill, from Kat Kirby, from Pat Carroll, from Edie Dillon, Jacques Laliberté, Judith Skinner, Leslie Ann McCown, Walt Anderson, Kathy Severson, Deborah Jan Owen, Ruth Werner, Connie Barnett, Patricia Carroll, Kathy Kamba, Jordan at the Melting Point, Katie Iverson, Sharana Laxam from Vigraha Sacred Art, Mary Kay O'Neill, Clementine Giordano, Mark and Jean Hines, Aragona Designs, Michelle Birch Burriz Veach, Bandu Dunham, Vicky McGaw, Melody McConaughey, Maria Lynham, John Skurja, and Neil Orlowski. If I missed any names, and Stephanie G. Brown. So we're gonna hear from some of those artists in a couple minutes. And I'm gonna briefly describe how you create your, and I'm gonna describe how you can create your bidder account on the website, which is very easy. And then, yeah, and then we're gonna hear from the artists themselves, and we're gonna have a chance to maybe field some questions. But before I do that, it is my pleasure and my honor to present your future Arizona State Representative for the Legislative District 1, Judy Stahl.
Thank you very, very much, Sam. And welcome everyone to our artist reception, our opening reception for our virtual art auction fundraiser for this campaign. I am running for Arizona State House for Legislative District 1, as you all, I believe, know, and it has been quite a journey so far. A lot of you have been with me all the way along the way. Abby for sure, Maria, and you know, a lot of you as friends in spirit, and now as active partners on this journey. It's certainly not something that I have been able to do in any way on my own, and it has been a really collaborative effort to run for office in our current environment. And I just want you guys to know that while I adore art, and I in my life have been an artist, a performance artist, an actress, a singer, a dancer, when it comes to the creative process and creating something that then someone can look at, someone can hang on their wall, someone can contemplate, that's different than what I do. That is what artists do, this creation process. And to me, it's absolutely miraculous and something that makes our lives worth living. So when I think about art and the people who I know who have contributed pieces to this event, it's a variety of people who came to art in their own ways and who have just created these incredibly beautiful pieces that just astonish me in every way. I know, for instance, that Pat Carroll, who is not here right now because she's still working at her gallery up in Eugene, Oregon. Pat and I have known each other since we were 5 years old, and we've been best friends since 8th grade, which was a long, long time ago. And when I first asked, let Pat know that I had this idea that, well, I think we should do an art auction fundraiser for the campaign. Um, and we talked about art and, what does it mean to her and what does it mean to people? And, why is it important for people to come to an art auction and to view art and to bid on it? And how does that relate to the campaign? She said to me that art is the reason why school was possible for her. She came from a family of 10 kids. They're all still alive. 2 boys, 8 girls, big Irish Catholic family. And she was 8th in line in the family. So it wasn't like she was like, oh, look, it's another girl baby. It's just like whatever in her family setting. And so she had to find her way. They're all amazing people, but she had to find her way in that clan and in life. And art was her thing. Art is her thing. And then I talked to and heard from Edie. And Edie, who's accomplished in so many different ways, shared that she really didn't start getting into being an active artist. Maybe I'm mistaken, Edie, but until you were in Yavapai College.
I was in my 30s.
She was in her 30s. So it wasn't like even late teens or, initially like after high school. So, it gives me hope that I could also at some point engage in some kind of art and have it be meaningful for me in the way that it is not only for the artist, but the person who gets to enjoy that art. And so it's important to me that this campaign reflect who I am and model the leadership that I will bring to the State House. And so when I say that I believe that art is as fundamental in public education as reading, writing, and arithmetic, that is absolutely what I believe. And that's somewhat the theme of this art auction, because I need you and everyone who comes to this auction to believe that it's possible that I can win a seat in this district where, for people who've lived here for a very long time, and I know some of you here have, I don't know how often people who you voted for have gotten elected. But for me, I've lived here for over 28 years, and it's been extremely rare that someone has been in office that I voted for. In fact, it may be only Kathy Rusing for the city council who I voted for, who got elected, and that wasn't a partisan election. So here I am running as a Democrat, the only Democrat on the ballot for Arizona State House, with 2 Republicans. And 2 people will be elected to those seats. So it's very important to me that you and the people who you share with know that I need to, if you want me to win, that you need to vote for me and only me for Arizona State House. I actually was out in public with my mask on today at an outdoor social distance event, saw some people I have not seen in a while. and was able to share that with at least a couple of people, that if you want to see this girl elected, this woman elected, it's going to require that you leave that second possible vote empty. Don't fill in a bubble for another candidate when you get your ballot. And they were like, oh, that's good to know. I didn't know that. So this single shot voting strategy is what's going to allow me to get elected in this district. There will be one Republican elected, and then I just need to be that other person who's elected. And I will value the diversity, the creativity, the emotional expression, the provocation that art can provide, the inspiration that art can provide, the opportunity to experience something that might make you uncomfortable, something that might touch you in a way that leaves you thinking about it for a while. That's what I want in this world. I want that diversity. I want to see that creativity. And I don't really see that very much in our local politics. And I do believe there's room for it. So I want to thank you all for being here, for sharing your art, for valuing this art, for valuing the importance of art in education, and for supporting this campaign. I do need you to believe that it's possible. We know it's possible. We are doing that work. We know the numbers. We know that it's tough, but we know that we're getting our job done. We're hearing that from everyone. And when this election is over, the conversation will be different about what is possible in this district. And it's been an honor to be the person who can, in my role as candidate, can be the vehicle for the expression of our shared values. So with that said, I'm just honored that you're all here. I'm looking forward to a phenomenal art auction. Let me just say as well, one more thing, that I do hope that y'all who come to bid on this beautiful art don't come looking for a deal. I hope that you come here looking to help this campaign raise lots and lots of money and valuing the work of these artists. I want to see artists get paid lots and lots of money for their art. I want to, of course, receive lots and lots of money for our fundraiser. But art needs to be valued. Little girls need to be valued. You know, people who are different need to be valued. And so we can create a world where art is valued as much as something else that that is maybe just like may seem more functional. And I know that there could be functional art. Don't let me get started on things like that. So with that said, I know you know what I'm talking about. It's great to see you all here. Let's have a phenomenal art auction. And I thank my team and the committee for all of their work to put this together. And, we're doing what we need to do on this campaign to raise the money, to be the serious candidate that I need to be be able to pay for the direct mail marketing and all of what we've done. And it's going to be a very successful campaign. No matter what we see as the result of this election, this will be a very successful campaign. And so welcome to the art auction, and much love to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you. So before I hand it over to our first artist, I want to briefly share, I'm going to share my screen for one moment so that we can get familiarized with what the platform looks like. And everyone who already knows what they're doing, thank you so much. And please help out anyone who asks you for help, because we want to eliminate any speed bumps, anything in the way. And so when you open the link that we've been sending out, it'll look like this. Can everyone see my screen? Yes. Okay, cool. So when you open it, it'll look like this. What we want people to do is go to this little list icon over here where my cursor is, next to the all items. Click on that, and that's what brings you to where all the items are. If if you don't have an account, what's going to come up right here above the images is a yellow text box that says create an account. And so I'm signed in, and so all I see is the items ready to go. And because we have not started the auction, it starts at 5 p.m. If I click on an item, I'm not able to bid on it. However, I'm going to move to this tab here, which is just a little demo. When the auction opens, it's going to look like this. It's going to have the bidding box, and you can put in my bid amount, and then you can place my bid. And so that's essentially what we're going to be doing. And there are notifications that come to you once you've created your account. And that way you can keep track of how the bidding wars are going, right? And so what we want to do is just, if anyone comes to you with questions, they're interested in the auction and maybe they need a little help, if you feel like you don't have the capacity to answer, I would like them to be directed to me. And my email is events@judystahl.com. And that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm going to be doing this weekend. We want to encourage people to explore the site freely and really have fun with it and enjoy all the information that's on there. One more thing before I hand it over is that if you click on an item, we have this cool feature of it gives you the information about the artist when you scroll, or the information about the piece, and then the information about how this item can be picked up or arranged to be dropped off or arranged to be shipped. Each artist, it's at their discretion of how they're going to handle that. And so when someone wins the bid, I will send them their Act Blue form, which is the platform we use for campaign donations, because the winning bids are campaign donations. And then I will send them the contact information of that artist. And so there's this beautiful thing here where we can click on and see who the artist is, and it'll bring us to their site. So we want to encourage people to check out the artist too. And got a lot of people on Zoom, so it's not loading. However, there's all of that available on each piece. So I know that's a lot in a short amount of time, but again, I am always open for questions. And thank you for dropping my email into the chat. And right now, what I'm going to do and put in the chat is the page that just has the items on it. And if someone who doesn't have their account made yet clicks on it, it's going to have a yellow box that says, make an account to be able to start bidding. People here who have done it before know that it's pretty simple and intuitive, but we always want to make sure that we're helping everybody out in any way possible. So that was the quick and dirty, but I'm always available for more answers. I would now like to hand it over to Abby Brill, one of the artists who has donated a ceramic piece to the auction. Abby Brill.
Hi, folks. I hope I'm speaking to some people that don't know Judy. It would be wonderful to have people checking in to see what this is all about. So I've known Judy for a number of years. She is a great friend, one of the most bubbly, enthusiastic people I know, and also super, super passionate. She's been involved with the Women's March and just loads of, progressive, wonderful activities the whole time I've known her. A big supporter of my husband's congressional campaign as well, which was super, super helpful. She gave us free massages during the campaign, which kept us alive. That was really awesome. Anyway, so I'm one of the artists contributing to this auction. I'm a potter. I throw things. So I play with clay, and my item is a bell, which is a lovely heavy duty ceramic bell outside, and it's got this long strand of beads that hangs down from it. You can see it on the auction, and they're super Arizona wind friendly, my bells. So you can hang it outside and not worry about it either irritating the neighbors or getting destroyed in a windstorm. Yeah, so that's that. I think the one thing that I really want to stress in my support for Judy is the issue of education. I think for me, the bottom line when you're looking at any part of society, when you're looking at any issue that needs to be looked at and improved, the bottom line is education. I think if you want to have people who support the environment, who are wanting to protect water and air and limit development, people who really care about the environment, if you want to have a strong economy, if you want to have jobs, if you want, if you want to live in an area where there are jobs, where kids can grow up and not have to, move away to the big city to find work. And if you want to have live in a place that other people are going to look at and respect, then you have to have good public education. So right now, the Republican Party, our legislature in particular, especially, is working to weaken our public education. And in Arizona, our funding is way at the bottom in terms of the 50 states. We are way at the bottom. We have just dreadful issues in public education. And it's the Democrats that are going to be working. If we can flip the legislature, they can really help push money toward public education, and also make sure that the charter schools are held accountable. Charter schools are okay, but they need to be held accountable for what they do. So bottom line is, Judy, I'm really supporting Judy because I know that education is super important for her. And so that's the issue for me. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you for that. I would like to now hand it over to Edie Dillon. Edie, take it away.
Okay, hi folks. My name is Edie Dillon, and I'm a sculptor and a writer. And I've lived in Prescott since 1988. And I worked and raised my kids in this community. And I'm just so honored and pleased to be a part of this auction to support Judy in her race. And I have known Judy for at least 2 decades, probably more, because she moved here in 92, I think. So
Yeah, probably close to 30 years.
yeah, so I do want to say, when you live in a small town and you've known someone for a long time, and that person has been in and out of your life in different ways, and you still support them for an important role like this, that says this is a really good person. So because you get to know someone pretty well if you've lived cheek by jowl in a place like Prescott. I want to second and third and bow down to everything that Abby said so articulately about education and the importance of supporting education in our town, having raised children here. And it wasn't always easy for them to feel supported in our system. And so for the future children of Prescott, thank you, Judy, for running this race. I also want to say that I think Judy is incredibly brave she's a clear thinker, and she's inclusive, and she'll collaborate with any reasonable person. And in this day and age, it's very hard to find inclusive, collaborative people. I think she's going to introduce legislation that protects the environment. And I think most importantly, because we're all looking at this in sort of our community national comeuppance that we've been involved. I think that Judy's very, very dedicated to justice. And she's going to make sure that all of our voices are heard in the legislature, not just the voices of people in small interest groups, the privileged people, the large corporations, the big landowners, the big developers. She's going to make sure all those voices are heard, because that's how we keep a strong and diverse community. So thank you, Judy, for taking these steps. I know it's not easy. And so the sculpture that I'm donating is called Blue Elephant. So it's mostly I do mixed media work, although sometimes it's pure metal, but this one is it's definitely found and fabricated things in here. I guess you can kind of see it. The elephant itself is made out of, formed by hand. That wasn't found. It's made out of like a epoxy clay. And then its wings, it's flying, are one side vintage lace and the other side a piece of cactus bone. And then there's a couple of pieces of watch clock on the back. And it's held up by a little oil can. So I kind of enjoy the symbolism in this piece at this moment, because you will notice that the elephant is actually blue and the oil can is an antique and it's just used for decoration. And in Arizona, it would be a good time to see oil as something that it was in the past, because we live in a sunny, sunny, sunny state. So with that said, I do want to remind everybody that bidding, unlike voting, you can do early, but you can also do it often. So bid early, often, and generously. Have a lot of fun with this, and hold that belief that we can bring Judy into the legislature. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you, Edie. That was fantastic. Thank you. I'd like to hand it over to Jacques Laliberté.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. And most of you I know. I do not remember when I met Judy, but it's been a while. I've been here 25 years also. And I would say was a gadabout town. So I ran into pretty much literally everybody. Even the mayor, Rolly Simmons, knew my name, which was bizarre. But I ran into Judy recently at a launchpad event with Courtney Osterfeld, who I've supported for years. Amazing work. And Judy hit me up for the auction, which I kind of thought was my idea, but I guess it's a great collaborative situation here, and was pleased to donate actually 2 pieces of my art. My thoughts on Judy, not that you don't already know and support her, is that for me, locally, especially over the last 20 years, oh boy, the cultural landscape has never been more black and white. So, you know, it's easy to pick your color, blue or red. The issues and the needed changes have never been more obvious. And within that, Judy stands apart. Judy's a person who cares about people, I believe has empathy. And in contrast to the other politicians, the values they bring and the policies they personally push versus those the citizens actually embody and care about, Judy will be speaking for us. And my feeling is and I know she's passionate, dedicated, and as has been said, open-minded to work with any of the players that she meets at the legislature. And I think we need that. There's a principle that I've been trying to live, which is having a bigger thought principle, moral, or aim that we work on collectively. And this auction obviously is a microcosm of that principle. But I feel people like Judy and perhaps Joe Biden are people who will look at the bigger principle of bringing America, or in Judy's case, the Prescott area, closer to the needs and realities and values that we all, or most of us as democratic citizens want to see. So thank you for that, Judy. The piece that I will trumpet here the most is this piece on metal, the Blue Temple. And it's pretty stunning because you can see it's almost holographic in the way it works with light. It's printed on metal, photographic negatives printed on metal. And the negatives were found at Batterman's auction. So they're literally vintage, large format negatives of a monk, the temple, some agave plants, and very interesting source materials that I found, scanned, photographed, and recomposed in Photoshop, and then had printed on metal locally. And it's framed in a float frame, ready to hang. So I'm pleased to be able to donate this to the cause. Thank you, Judy, and thank you, Sam, for running this, and every other of the artists who are involved with this wonderful cause.
Thank you, Jacques. Jacques, Abby Brill, and Jamie Desson and I formed the art auction committee, or we make up the art auction committee. And I have to shout out what a pleasure it was to work with such dedicated, skilled folks. I told them that at every meeting, and I think it bears repeating here today, because this is a collaborative effort, just like the campaign and just like the positive changes that we want to make. So with that, I would like to hand it over to Ann Ramsey.
Hello, everybody. Unlike the other people, hi, Judy. Unlike the other people who have spoken, I have only lived in Prescott for about 4 years. And I have 2 little short stories that relate to our conversation. I hadn't lived here very long, and I was at a luncheon with some quilting ladies. And the people I was with were very staunch Republicans. And I said, well, I just moved here. I don't know anything about the governor. What do you admire about the governor? And they listed some things. And then one of the ladies said, well, he's gonna offer, I can't remember if it was a tax cut or sort of a refund to the general public. And I said, well, huh? And she said, well, there's a surplus in the state budget. And I thought to myself, that really doesn't resonate very well with what I think I know about Arizona schools. So I looked up a little current information. As Abby alluded to, Arizona is 48th in the list of states in state funding for education per capita student. Arizona is 28th in per capita income, which I think is a really interesting contrast. So that's one little story. And then the second story is, we just had a visit from a family member from out of town. She's almost my age, which is ancient. And she was recalling how when she was in school, she now understands, she didn't understand at the time, she had learning disabilities. And she felt like, when I was saying, okay, well, I was good with English. So I likened it in my life to if I were playing dodgeball, because I'm not athletic. If I were playing dodgeball and all of a sudden the other kids could levitate and avoid the ball, and I couldn't, I could see that they could do something I couldn't, but felt really vulnerable. And she said that was exactly how it felt. So if our family member had access to quality art education when she was a child, she would have been able to show the world and herself who she was and what she had to offer, because she's a wonderful artist. So Judy, you had me at art education. So I would like to show the item that, I don't know if I can do it well. This is the jacket that I have to offer. This is the front and this is the back. When I do my, my jacket embellishments, sometimes I like to use appliques. Sometimes I like to use commercial fabric, which this is. And then also sometimes I like to use my own fabric that I've created from paintings. I would like to mention that the person who bids doesn't really have to buy this jacket. I will be really happy if the person gives Judy some money, donates some money. I'll be really happy to make any style jacket the person wants with any fabric that we can pick out. I have a presence in a quilt store here, and the person and I could meet at the quilt store and she could pick out her own fabric and design her own jacket, which would be really fun.
Wow, thank you, Anne. That's incredible. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Okay, now I'm getting excited all over again about looking at the pieces that are up for in the auction. I would like to now hand it over to Deborah Ann Owen.
Hello, thank you. This is my first Zoom meeting. I know I'm a little late to the game here, and certainly the first time on my first Zoom meeting here, I am talking. So you can imagine how nervous I am. First, I would like to say why I support Judy. One is that she's just so intelligent, and I admire that so much. She's not only educated, but she is clearly informed about issues. When I hear her speak and read her pieces, it's not lightweight. There's substance there, and I truly appreciate that. It's not just jargon. I don't feel like I'm being blown off with some words that somebody thinks I want to hear. She's also very even-keeled, I've noticed. She fits in a lot of different places, and I imagine, she's a human being and she gets flustered here and there, but I'm very impressed with how she holds her demeanor together, and that allows her to be tuned in to those around her and connect with them to that degree that she can connect with them. And that is quite a skill. When she does connect, it's very clear. There's not a lot of fluff. There's a feeling of intent when she speaks, and I really appreciate that. She's definitely not dominating the conversations, which I appreciate. She's open to conversation. She's open to ideas. She asks for ideas, and that is so impressive with a politician. And overall, she's just a very passionate person at the same time as being a very focused person. So all of which I admire very much. And I feel very proud and blessed as well to have the opportunity to be a supporter. When I was told about the auction, I was glad that there was a way that I could contribute. And first I want to tell you how I think of art in general. Very simply, humanity is defined by its people. People are defined by the artists. Artists are defined by their artwork, and artwork defines humanity. And I have lived by that and known that since I was a very young person. I've been involved in the arts my entire life. Very briefly, I started out as a wearable art designer. I had accounts across the country, and that was wonderful. Then I went into fashion design. I worked with some top design houses. And then from there, I became the executive director with an art center, a community art center, and built that from the ground up. I'm very, very proud. It's the most fun I've ever had in my life. A person passed away and left this huge Victorian to become this art center, but there was no art center there. So I, with all the community, got to put that together. So I cherish that experience and that memory. What I've done is I've donated 4 pieces, and I don't have, they're in my car, so sorry. I didn't know I could hold them up, but anyway, 2 are giclée prints from watercolors. By the way, my whatever, my artwork is across the board. I was with wearable art, and then I was watercolor for a very long time, and then I went into collage, and that led me to mixed media. And I've throughout all of that, I do stitched works is what I call them, big collages, small collages. And so I get up in the morning and I just do what I want to do. And that's the way it's supposed to be as far as I'm concerned. 2 pieces I donated are giclée prints of watercolors. One is, I call it pair halves, you know, that's very clever. And it's a beautiful piece. It's won awards, and it can fit in just many environments. So I think you'll enjoy that one. The other piece that I submitted is called Friends. And it is actually, those are both watercolors, and they're giclée. And Friends is a quick portrait of 2 of my friends from my past that are wonderful people, and they just exude such individuality that when I saw them together, which I was blessed to do often, it was like their energy was whatever's bigger than multiplied. So that is what that piece is about. Then I donated a piece called Pomegranate, which is my one and only experiment in, oh, hello, Kit Kit. This is my cat, Kit Kit. Pomegranate is a piece about, 7 by 7 or so. It's a block print. My only time I've ever done a block print. It was really, really neat, and I love the piece, and I think you'll enjoy that too. The last piece I want to mention is called Poppy Fields. It is an original, and I'm very, very proud of it. It's has a lot of energy, has a lot of soul, and a wonderful palette. And I personally think it's a fabulous, delicious piece. So I hope that you enjoy seeing that, and I hope it gets lots of bids. And I hope that all my work gets lots of bids, because this is how I can support Judy. And that is the whole point of this. And I'm very honored to have this opportunity to participate. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Deborah. I'm so glad that that you're able to be here and to donate those pieces.
Thank you. I want to say thank you, Sam, for getting into my first Zoom meeting.
What an honor. We're so glad that you're here.
Can I just interrupt for a second, Sam, and say, Deborah, you look amazing on Zoom, and you've really been christened on Zoom because your kitty showed up. So now you're like an old, that's how Zoom works. We're all looking for the kitty cats.
Exactly. Thank you. Our last artist speaker is Maria Lynham. Everybody, Maria Lynham.
Thank you so much, Sam and Judy. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm just so glad that I can support you. I'm not sure why, okay. I've lived in Prescott for 20 years, and for 12 of those years, I took classes at Yavapai College, and then I worked in the printmaking department as a lab assistant and mentor. I also taught classes in digital transfer and gold leaf to many of you actually who are here today. I was on the board of Prescott Center for the Arts, and I co-chaired the Visual Arts Committee and helped run the gallery for 8 years. And I've also curated print shows at local galleries. I'm a member of the Arizona Print Group, and I've been in group shows in Tubac, Tucson, Phoenix, and of course, Prescott. I want you to know that my work is in the permanent collections of the San Francisco Public Library, the Amarillo Museum of Art, and Yavapai College. My art's also in private collections across the US, Europe, and Japan. And in Prescott, I was fortunate enough to be represented by Van Gogh's Ear. When 45 got elected, my life took a detour. I was unable to concentrate on my art, and I found myself becoming an activist and eventually a community organizer. I also write a newsletter, Persist and Resist. Excuse me. It was on my journey of political activism that I met Judy. We worked together initially along with the cast and crew of the Vagina Monologues for 2 years, and I assisted with the fundraising. The past 4 years of my life have been spent in growing the progressive community known as Prescott Indivisible and working for the Yavapai County Democratic Party. I'm currently the chair of the Democratic Women of the Prescott area, and Judy is one of our valued board members. The piece that I donated to Judy's campaign is titled The Tale of the Sea Monkey. It is let's see how this works out. It is a pigment print on Evelon, which is a non-woven microfiber imported from the Netherlands. It's very environmentally conscious, the whole piece. The first layer is a monotype, which is a layer of soy-based ink, and then I did a digital print over it. I'm telling you this because the materials are important to print collectors and are indicative of a quality print. The background of this print is I was fortunate enough to attend an international printmaking conference in San Francisco in 2014. While I was there, I took a number of photos of antique Chinese type and Indonesian hand-carved doors, and they became the inspiration for this series of prints. The monkey is represented in Hindu mythology as brave, loyal, and dedicated to justice. In one epic, an army of monkeys attached to free a kidnapped wife of the god Rama. I believe that the tale of the sea monkey is symbolic of Judy's candidacy for the Arizona House in LD1. I know that she is brave, she is loyal, and definitely dedicated to justice. I am so pleased that I have been able to contribute to her campaign, and I'm honored to call her a friend. I believe Judy is highly principled. I believe that she is highly invested in a creative political process. I believe that she will partner with any person of reason. I believe that she's invested in her community. I believe that she's going to be a leader and a guardian of education. I believe that she's going to protect, along with others elected to the Arizona legislature, our freedoms, including safeguarding our right to choose our health care. I believe that she will introduce legislation to protect our environment. I believe that she will work to eliminate tax breaks for large corporations. I believe that she will vote for Arizona to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment. I believe that Judy Stahl will win, and I believe that she will help us take back the soul of Arizona. And Judy, I'm just so glad that you're running. You're like a breath of fresh air here. You have assembled a great team, and you know, your campaign's sizzling. So go to it, woman.
so much, Maria. Thank you for that. And thank you to all of the artists who have donated, who have submitted the pieces, who have supported this campaign from the beginning, obviously. I don't think I knew how moved I was going to be by these testimonies. And so I hope that we can carry that with us as we're moving into this last leg of the campaign. And so Abby Brill and I would like to make an ask and how we frame and move forward thinking about this art auction. Abby, my screen's a little frozen. Abby, are you there?
You're good, Sam. Abby, we can't hear you. You're still muted.
There, how's that? Good?
Yeah.
All right, I'm still here. So, yeah, just short and sweet after a lot of words. This auction is to benefit Judy's campaign. And while it's really awesome to be able to bid on a piece of art that you'd like to own and to win it, the point is not to win it for less than what it's worth. The point is to support Judy. So please be generous. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone. Happy bidding.
There we go.
Thank
Alrighty.
you all
Yeah.
so much. Much love. I didn't know I would be so moved either, but I am. And you know, art is that, it's that higher octave of life. It gives all the work that we do, all the menial, mundane stuff that we do, it gives it meaning. It lifts us up. And so my heart is just absolutely bursting right now. I'm thrilled about this auction and just the spirit that everyone has brought here. So yeah, let's keep building on that. And you know, we're going to do our part with the campaign. And again, just thank you all, and Sam, especially you, for organizing this, and have a wonderful auction.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening. It is 4 minutes to 5 p.m. Shout it high from the rooftops. 5 p.m. Start bidding. Bye,
Share it with
everybody.
everyone. Bye.
Okay.